Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video, I'm going to take a look in the Soulforge, tell you what I think is good and bad in there. I'll show you a really cool invasion team and a cool Underspire team at the same time. But first of all, let's take a look at this weekly event troop, the Waterborne Templar. Gives magic +1 armor and life to an ally, and if they're an elemental, bless and barrier them. So the armor and life is okay, but if you're in an all elemental team, definitely better. Because that Bless and Barrier is actually surprisingly good. And Elementals gain 2 armor as well, so not too bad. Reduced damage from skulls by 25%. And create a blue gem when its turn begins. Helps it itself because it uses blue as part of its colours. So yeah, not too bad. Not amazing, but fairly okay, I would say. A 5 out of 10. Anyway, going back a bit, one of my early girlfriends, an ex, she once borrowed £100 from me. And then after 3 years, when we separated, she returned exactly £100. I lost interest in that relationship. Do you see? Right. Anyway, onto the Soulforge we go. Let's take a look at the weapons first. I'm not going to go over all the things that are here all the time, like these lot here, because no need for that. And they're in my Soulforge extra video, where that is a list of all the things, weapons and troops that are here all the time. So first up is Wall of Water, but don't get it from here, get it from the Invasion shop. Much better to get it from there, because you can use gems to get that, and you get extra stuff like tiers, you know, sigils and things like that to do that event. And here you have to spend diamonds and other resources as well. So yeah, definitely get it from the Invasion shop. But it deals magic +3 damage to the first 2 enemies, boosted by elemental allies. Wall of Water. Take a look at the upgrade when I get it from the Invasion shop. I mean, what is that? Is that like 2 pressure washers, where you get like a pressure washer on each arm and you just blast someone? Yeah, that would hurt, especially if it was a good one. Right, what's next? On the stars is here all the time. That's not on my Soulforge extra video because it came out after I'd done that. I should update that video soon, really. But yeah, I say it all the time, but if you've got the resources, just craft one of the stars. Best weapon in the game. Amazing. Create 6 elemental stars, bless all allies, or 7 umbral stars and curse all enemies. So the bless and the curse is an amazing option anyway, but the amount of mana this thing mostly generates most times is absolutely amazing. It can work against you sometimes, but cast it properly based on the colour on the screen, and most of the time it will work very much in your favour. Natura's Star. Remove all brown gems. Deal magic based damage to an enemy boosted by gems removed. And if the enemies from Nexus or battle is in Nexus, deal double damage. So those gems are removed with no effect. They're just taken away because it's kind of the anti-Nexus weapon. That's the colour. The Nexus troop likes the most browns. By taking them away, you're making it harder for them to get their most favourite mana colour. And you get that double damage as well if battle is in Nexus or the enemies from Nexus. So yeah, not bad. And it does have Tangling as part of its upgrades as well, which entangles a top troop when it's cast. So good against Skull teams too. Thorn's Blade does damage to an enemy boosted by green and elemental allies. Again, has Tangling as part of its upgrades, that handy entangle. And Leaf as well, which is Leaf Storm. Starts a green storm. Green falls more than any other colours, and using green, it means it helps it get charged up quicker to maybe do it again. Pretty handy, but not essential. Vulcan's Mace does damage to an enemy boosted by Nexus allies, then create a mix of 6 red and brown gems for each Nexus ally. Now, normally these weapons, the colours they create are opposite to the ones that the weapon uses. This one's different. It's one of the rare ones where it actually creates the colour, or one of the colours that it actually uses itself, giving it a chance to actually get self-charged and do it again. So if you've got all Nexus allies, it's actually a really, really good weapon. You can do damage, get those 4 matches, providing you're not frozen, and just keep doing it while getting charged up if you get lucky. Very, very cool indeed. Do like the Vulcan's Mace. Oshia's Tome, another excellent mana generator. Explode 4 gems for each blue ally and each elemental ally. They don't have to be all blue. They don't have to be all elemental. Providing they're either blue or elemental, you'll explode 4 gems for each of those allies. Really, really good mana generator. Do like that a lot. That's a very good one to pick up today, I would suggest. Krista's Scythe. Stun all enemies and then create 3 elemental stars. One of the strengths of Elementalist is obviously that elemental force. stun, freeze, burn, and entangle a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems. But if you stun the enemy, then they can no longer do that. This actually stuns all enemies and then creates 3 elemental stars. There's a kind of a mini counter weapon built into the list of weapons available for this kingdom against elementalist class, if that made any sense at all. But you've got to be careful because the enemy can have fortitude as well, and if they have fortitude, then they're not going to be subject to that stun, which means you're going to do that and then they won't be affected because they'll be immune to stun. So yeah, be careful on that. Next up we have... what do we have next? Doomed Tanto. Deal damage to the last enemy boosted by brown gems. If they have a doom, deal double damage. And there's a 3% chance per temporary level to kill the enemy. So the damage is not that high really. It's not that great even with a bunch of brown on the board. And there's a 3% chance per temporary level to kill the enemy. Even at fully tempered level, it's still barely a 1 in 3 chance to kill them. So not really a fan of that kind of thing myself. I don't like these chances to do things, weapons and spells. I'd rather know exactly what's going on and not rely entirely on luck, even though the game is luck based to a degree, but that just adds even more luck to the luck, if you know what I mean. So yeah. Elemental Fury. Explode. Magic +1 brown gems. Give a random status effect to all Nexus allies and summon a Nexus troop. So a nice explodey summoning weapon has dust as part of its upgrade, which is a brown dust storm, so more brown, which is pretty handy. Doesn't use brown itself, but if you've got other troops that use brown, then certainly very effective for that. I do like my nice explodey summoning weapons. And that is it. So not that many weapons. These are all related to the new dragons. That was nice and easy on the weapons. Let's take a look at the troops now. As ever, go over these summoning stone thingy-jigs, especially if you're a newer player. See if there's anybody that you haven't got that you fancy having. Looking for goblins, always good. Extra turn for every goblin, really, really good. That's not a bad one. Anybody that starts with full mana, this is a very good one. The Spider Throne. Convert all brown gems to web gems. That's converting brown to purple with the effect of web. Web reduces magic to 0, which can severely hinder the effectiveness of a lot of troops' spells. Reduce damage from skulls by 50%, and Dark Ancestry is pretty cool as well. So yeah, very nice troop, that one, the Spider Throne. Anybody else in here who's another goblin? Look, convert 5 green gems to burning gems with an extra turn. That's converting green to red with the effect of burning. So yeah, have a little look through there and see what is going on. Leshy's pretty good. Entangle all allies and enemies. So entangle everybody. Destroy all green gems. That is with a full effect though, so if you've got somebody else that uses green, that's pretty handy because you get them charged up at the same time. And he's immune to entangle. So if you have other troops that are immune to entangle as well, especially the one at the top, then you're going to hinder the enemy severely on a skull-based team if you're fighting a skull-based team, while basically being fairly safe from the entangle yourselves, which is quite neat. So yeah, cool. Right, let us take a look at the troops. Let's go to the bottom and work our way up. Comethalas is the dragon on rotation this week. If this is the only dragon you need on your road to crafting Stellarix, then for most people it's going to be worth spending that extra Dragonite to guarantee it. So if it's the last dragon you need, then basically it's a 5 to 1 chance you can get another duplicate. Now, it can be frustrating, but you can get lucky, obviously, and get it straight away, thus saving Dragonite. But me, I don't like sort of those gambling things like that. I'd rather do something which I knew was absolutely guaranteed. If I had a couple of thousand Dragonite and this was the last dragon I need, I would be crafting this from here, definitely, to guarantee it, rather than take that chance on yet more duplicates. But you pay your Dragonite and he takes your choice. You could get lucky, like I say. Right, anyway, who is next? Dragon Lord Luthor's here all the time. Midwinter Lycan. This is a surprisingly good mythic. Damage to all enemies, and it's not a bad amount either. Then create a mix of 16 Curse and Freeze Gems. Curse are brown with the effect of Curse, and Freeze Gems are blue with the effect of Freeze. And that can actually cause this to charge up itself because it uses blue. If you've got somebody else who's using brown, which does a similar kind of thing, then it's actually really, really powerful because inflict freeze and terror on a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems is actually really, really good as well. And impervious is nifty as well, as is reduce damage from skulls by 20% is just okay. But the icy terror can really mess things up for the enemy, because you can get the entire enemy team terrorized really quickly, and if they're at the bottom, there's a chance they'll just run away. It's just like Deathmark, they're effectively just dead, and that puts whoever was above them in effectively last place now, so it can happen again. And yes, I remember I used this in an Underspire team a little while ago when I mucked around and changed the team a bit, and I was surprised how good it was. It was really, really good. I wish that's that thing. I thought, oh, I'll remember that team. It's so good, I won't forget that team. And I didn't. And I wish I'd taken a snapshot of it now, because it was really, really good. So Midwinter Lycan, actually a very good mythic indeed. Who else we got? Kenta, not so good. True damage to the first and last enemies boosted by blue gems. Yes, that is it. Gives full armor to all blue allies when matching blue gems. Submerge myself when I take damage. Yeah. It says crab sign. I'm not sure that B was meant to be a P though. That would be more accurate for the spell or troop. Crab sign. Yes. That would be much more accurate. Who else we have? We have Umanath, kind of like a mini Zul Goth. Does damage to an enemy boosted by all their skills. So the stronger the enemy, the more they've boosted their skills up, the more it can work against them. If the enemy dies, gain 10 attack and create 12 skulls. So it's like a mini Zul Goth in the way that if you can cast that at a point where you know you're going to kill them, you're going to create a load of skulls afterwards, which is pretty handy sometimes. Place Hunter's Mark on enemies when doing skull damage is actually pretty cool as well, because it helps that spell when you create those skulls by doing that extra damage. A 20% chance to dodge skull damage and gain 4 attack when matching 4 or more gems. So yeah, Umanath, pretty good, but kind of specialist. You can't just cast it whenever you like. You got to plan your attack. You got to make sure you kill someone first to make sure you get the most out of that spell when you cast it, things like that. Arachnian Weaver. Still a really, really strong mythic. Absolutely awesome stuff. Web all enemies, reducing their magic to 0 on so many troops. Their spell is based on their magic. And higher the magic, the more the damage. So you reduce that to 0. You can have so many troops doing next to no damage. It is fantastic. And then deal true damage to the last 2 enemies. And if an enemy dies, explode 15 gems. And the traits just are the icing on a very nice cake. It cannot be targeted by spells unless there are no other targets. It's impervious, immune to all status effects, devour, lycanthropy, and mana burn. They used to be so strong back in the day. It's not quite so strong as it is now because of the effect of curse, but still really good. And creeping doom though, absolutely awesome. 75% chance to summon a web spinner when an enemy dies. So if you have this in 3rd or 4th place, and you've lost a couple of troops and you've managed to start killing a couple of enemies because you're hitting those last 2 enemies and things like that, then you can get a web spinner, which is really good and a very dangerous troop as well. So Arachnian Weaver, absolutely awesome stuff. Let's go over the legendaries ever so quickly though. We're not going to spend too much time on them, so I haven't run over them ever so quickly. Not usually worth crafting legendaries from here. Save your diamonds for the mythics, which are much harder to get, unless it's a super, super, super special legendary like a Tesla or a Yaguai or something like that. But drain all mana from an enemy and deal true damage based on your magic boosted by mana drained. Yeah, it's alright. It's alright. High Priestess Chazka, pretty cool. Conjure a light storm when my turn begins, a guaranteed non-stop slew of a yellow. Then damage to all boosted by yellow gems is pretty cool. And bless all yellow allies, so not too bad again at all. Qianglong works really well with Penglong, if I remember. Damage to all enemies, create a mix of 16 red and yellow gems. Uses yellow, so can self-charge and do it again. Pretty cool. And gains enchant when matching yellow. So yeah, nice little troop there as well. And our next one, Dragonstone Guardian. Damage to all enemies, create a mix of 5 good and evil gargoyle gems. And a 35% chance to give Reflect to a random ally when my turn begins, and that rather handy stone skin as well. Reduced damage from skulls by 50% is pretty cool. But with a troop like this, when you've got those creation of good and evil gargoyle gems, you've got to make sure you've got a exploding troop. Someone in your team that explodes or destroys gems, because you don't want to leave all those gems on the board. Those gargoyle gems for the enemy to pick up. That'd be no good, so you must have a way of exploding them in your team. But yes, who is my mythic of the week? Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Arachne Reavers, fantastic. Umanath, decent, but no cigar really. Certainly not Cantor. And Midwinter Lycan is actually really, really freaking good. Like very good when used in the right team. But you can't not give it to Arachne Reaver. So good. They're awesome web all enemies. Reducing magic to 0 really nullifies the effects of so many teams. It is just nuts. And true damage is really good. If they die, explode gems, it can charge up and do it again. And that awesome set of traits is the icing on the cake. So Arachne Reaver gets my mythic of the week. Now on to the invasion team. First things first though, pop to the shop, make sure you grab your required tiers, because for this you're going to need the event captain Tempest Ballista. Has ×2 magic and ×2 score for this event only, so absolutely essential to make sure we get that. Grab that from the shop, grab whatever tiers you require, at least 1 and 2, recommend at least 3 though to pick up the extra weapon. This is in the Soulforge, but like I said in that Soulforge part, it's much better to get it from here, because you can just spend gems, and gems are easier to get than diamonds, and you pick up those extra event sigils, more troops, more stuff. Very handy indeed. So at tier 1, we can get the Potion of Enchantment, along with those other bits and bobs, really handy. Enchant all allies at the start of this battle. Tier 2 is where we pick up our Tempest Ballista, doing damage to an enemy, and you get those nice damage bonuses based on your ascensions. It's not absolutely essential to get them to make it work, but it just makes it a heck of a lot easier. That is for sure. And we get the Potion of Explosion too, exploding 4 gems at the start of battle. And the team I'm going to show, this is going to be absolutely crazy, mega fast, if not faster. Tier 3, you can pick up the Wall of Water, as we just said. So tier 1, 2 and 3, I would suggest is a really good way to go about this. To get your, where has he gone, Tempest Ballista up to mythic level, there's 2 ways to get it. Either buy tier 2, then back out and use 2 Orbs of Ascension to get it to a mythic level. But I don't recommend that if you're still chasing Zorlagoth, because you're going to need those Orbs of Ascension to craft him, so they're better off saved for that reason. But other than that, you have to buy an absolute load of different tiers to get enough copies of it to get it to mythic level that way. But like I say, not absolutely essential in the team that I'm going to show. For the early stages, this will absolutely fly through easy. Mirage Queen. All elemental allies start with 50% mana. And you can look out for this curse all enemies and convert all green gems to Doom Skulls. That's going to be absolutely lethal later on. Absolutely deadly, I'm telling you. Tempest Ballista. I don't care too much about the traits, but get them if you can. Because basically we're going to have other troops doing all the damage. And damage to an enemy, if they're a tower, deal 3 to 5 times damage. You can still actually use this to do damage to the enemy, because it will get charged up, because it's going to start with 50% mana because of Mirage Queen. We're going to explode gems at the beginning, and we're going to be enchanted. It's going to be ready to go in no time. As is Wicked Scythe, or any other damage to all weapon. In all the stages, while you've got all standard troops, i.e. before the towers start appearing, just pick a nice damage to all weapon. I like this one. It's okay damage, easy to get charged up. It's not mana blocking anybody above like Jordrin, and it's going to be a piece of cake. It's going to get charged up really, really fast. Damage to all, wipe out those early enemies really quickly. Jordrin is here mainly for when the rest of the towers start appearing. Damage to an enemy. If they're a tower, extra bonus damage. Destroy 2 columns. Pretty cool. And Siege Breaker as well. So any skulls that come along when we get those towers later on, it's just going to absolutely wipe through them a piece of cake, especially when we combined it with the Mirage Queen, changing those green gems to Doom Skulls. So really, really easy. Let's just take a look at the class quickly. Elementalist for this. Absolutely fantastic stuff, especially that stun trees burn and entangle a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems. Talent trees will have a bit of snap freeze. You can go impact. You can have insulated, thunder fist, storm aura, rock solid, stone mastery, fortitude. Yeah, really good set of traits. So let's just blast through a couple of early stages, then we'll jump forward. Not going to show too many of these early battles because it's going to be mega straightforward. I'd be surprised if we didn't get charged up pretty much straight away, to be honest. You start with 5 mana, and it have an explosion, ready to go. See you later. Stick on Medals of Nisha to make the weapon more powerful. And we go again. So yeah, just a nice damage to all weapon at the beginning, just blast through these early stages. There's our explosion, and might as well get the purple. Job done. Kaboosh, I'm all out of there. Like I say, any damage to all weapon is good. You can have black manacles as well. Didn't pick that one though because I didn't want it to be mana blocked by anything. Good thing about Wicked Scythe is there's no mana blocking on it. It's the only thing that uses purple. So the combination of that 50% mana start, the explosion at the beginning, and the other thing. What is it? What is the other thing? Oh, enchantment. Yes, and enchantment means it gets ready to go really, really quickly. Right, let's just do the last one here, then we'll jump forward because this is going to be very straightforward in these early stages. Right, there's our explosion. There we go. Yeah. Easy peasy lemon squash. When one tower starts appearing, we can just use either Jordrin or the ballista thingy to wipe it out really quickly. And then use a weapon to take out the rest. There we go, that got charged up. Get rid of that tower. And then we can use the weapon to clear out the rest. When two towers start appearing, it's very, very similar. Just whoever gets charged up first, your Jordrin, your ballista, your weapon, just cast that and then finish off the rest. Like Jordrin's got powered up straight away. Let's get rid of that tower there. Let's cast our Wicked Scythe next. Damage to all, soften them up, and finish off the last tower. And when three towers start appearing, it's kind of more the same. And when four towers start appearing, it actually gets easier because any skull hits, you automatically get that lovely 5 times damage from our Jordrin at the top there. So we've already got charged up. Look, we don't have to do anything. Let's just take out that top tower. Let's cast this one. We're going to get mana at the same time. There we go. That's got that one charged up. That's the last tower done. We can look out for Doom Skull's conversion with Mirage Queen if we like. Not always necessary to do so and finish off. Right, let's just do just 1 or 2 more on this stage just to show how we can go about it. You want to get the bird as well straight away, make sure that doesn't run off. If Wicked Scythe gets charged up, all your damage to all weapon, just absolutely can just cast that absolutely straight away. And then that's softened up those towers at the same time. So we can cast this first. Let's get rid of that one because it's nearly charged. Let's what have we got next? Oh, we can just do this. Get rid of that one. And any skull hit is going to be done. So Mirage Queen, looking at you. That's a bit unlucky. Nothing to green. What the heck? Not even a single skull hit. But we got that one there, look. That'll do. Right, let's make this the last one. You can actually swap the weapon out when 4 towers come along for something like the Arboreal Crystal. That's a good way to go about it. Let me just show that quickly why that'd be a good choice. And the reason I think that is a good choice is because, first of all, it uses blue and purple, which means we're now using all 6 colours on our main 3 troops. Mirage Queen is mainly there for that 50% mana start, but we can use that. Obviously, that convert all green to Doom Skulls when it suits us. But yeah, Arboreal Crystal wouldn't be a bad shout there because we're going to explode gems, going to get status effects, which are really good, and a safety of a summon should something happen to your Jordrin. But this is going to be okay. I haven't had a chance to use a Mirage Queen on this yet. It's been a little bit unlucky, but there you go. If when all 4 towers start appearing, we'll just get rid of that top tower absolutely straight away. Really, really cool. So let's just use this one now to get rid of the first tower. Let's get rid of another one. Any skull hit that comes along, any green skulls. I can't believe we haven't had yet another any green match to skulls. Unbelievable. Let's just soften them up with that then, just for the sake of it. And we got one there, look, that would do. Lovely chubbly. Right now, Underspire. Fun little team you can use for this would be something like Elemental Fury, 2 times Queen Ash and King Heliodor. If you want to put in an extra King Heliodor in place for Queen Ash, you can absolutely do that. But these are really, really cool because Queen Ash does heavy splash damage to the second last enemy booted by brown gems and allies, pulls them to the front and then creates 3 elemental stars which can align and make an absolute ton of mana. But she also gives 2 magic to all elemental allies when matching brown gems, which is really cool because we can do a lot of that, and we're going to need them to charge up these troops anyway, and it will then push up their damage, and that includes King Heliodor, who can do true damage to the first enemy booted by brown gems and allies, then knock them to the back and create 3 elemental stars. So these can actually sort of loop pretty well if you get lucky with that. And it also gives 5 life to all elemental allies when matching brown gems. I've just noticed I've not chosen my class yet, which should have been that. Thank you very much. Let's look at it while we're here. Obviously you get that lovely stun, freeze, burn and entangle on 4 matches, but we can have impact, we can have insulated, we can have stone circle. Storm aura, really good for this. Rock solid combines really well, get a barrier when matching brown, which we get a lot of. And stone mastery helps the team get charged faster, and fortitude. So really, really cool. And elemental fury explodes brown gems, which is going to be an absolute ton of. Creates another dust storm, should there not be one already. As soon as you cast this weapon, we get status effect to our troops and a summon at the same time. You can actually move that down one if you want. Especially if you're a newer player, because that summon can really come in handy. But there's benefits to it being up top, because every brown match we get a barrier. You get a few 4 matches with these elemental stars, and you've got like a really, really cool team that's going to loop anyway. And this actually works really, really well with Wonder Stars. I mean, we're going to get those elemental stars from the spell. So it would work really, really well. I might actually show it with that anyway. I mean, it's going to work really well with the weapon I've got there now, but let's show it with Wonder Stars just because it's so effective. Because we get that it just works. Create 6 elemental stars. Create 3 elemental stars. Create 3 elemental stars. Create 3 elemental stars. All the benefits of Elementalist. We get the 4 matches. Too good not to do, really. So let's jump in. Let's jump in and see how it goes. I did actually pick the banner based on the previous weapon, but hey ho. So it will be slower going at first on this one, because you have to obviously get the team charged up and ready to rock and roll. But once it gets going, it's going to be generally pretty fast. There we go. So we got that. Second last enemy, that'd be the middle one. Bish bash bosh. You are dead, mate. Matesses, machines, things, and other things involved. So let's get our free lantern from Matey Boy Chain Hat Head. Might as well go back to that weapon. Actually, I'm going to revert it back. I'm going to go back to the weapon I had a minute ago just to show how that works with that. Which I should still be very good with this. Just want to show you the potential loop of Queen Ash and King Heliodor. That is the idea. Not everyone's got Wonder Stars. Queen Ash and Heliodor are much easier troops to get. Get brown when you can. Make sure we get that rock solid barrier. Very nice to be protected. So that's ready to rock and roll. Heavy splash damage. Bing bang bong. And you can align these yourself if they're not there already. There's generally going to be something there somewhere. We can get 2 for the price of 1 there. Look, really good. And do it again. So yeah, let's stick with this team. But if you've got Wonder Stars, it's going to be just very, very straightforward. Because even if Wonder Stars misses, as in doesn't align, you're going to leave elemental stars on the board, which means when you cast these and you create 3 more, then you're going to get some alignment. You kind of just got to somewhere. And if that was a bit dodgy and you can make some alignment manually, you can do that as well. So yeah, let me look at the way like these brown are appearing as well. It's like a brown gem when my turn begins. Really, really cool. So we got that extra brown at the same time, which makes things just charge up so fast it's nuts. Right, here we go. Let's do that. They're dead. It didn't get the alignment again. It's a little bit unfortunate, but we've got Skull Hit up top anyway, so that will do. But this can loop on itself a lot if you get lucky with those stars. You can obviously chuck in other troops as well. There's other ways to go about it. If you've got Chrysanthrax, obviously you can chuck that in Kaliko would be a good one as well. You can have a fun team with her. 50% chance to create an elemental star at the start of my turn. Damage to wall. If you've got 3 of her, you can just go with a weapon and 3 of her, and that can charge up really quickly because you usually get a couple, 1 or 2 elemental stars at the start of each turn. That's another good way to go about it. This is fun though when it loops. So what we got? Let's grab a bit of that. Let's put the Bean Ash up. See how the mana we got just ends just automatically because those brown stars just appearing. Probably don't need to do that. We can actually just... Yeah, let's do that just to get the effects. We've got Skull hit and next 2 troops underneath the weapon were charged up as well. Pretty straightforward. All the while we're getting a barrier every single brown match. Getting the stun bun. Stun bun? Stun bun? Stun, burn, freeze and entangle. What's a stun bun? Wow. Oh, I don't know what a stun bun is, but I want one. I've decided I want a stun bun. It sounds cool. That'll do. Yeah, it's going to work a treat with this. Very, very easy. Right, let's just do one more. Let's do this room. Come on, let's see if we can get lucky. See what's in the chest. Alright, purple and red that way or brown this way? Or skull hit that way? Ooh, choices. Let's bash them out of it, just cause. Right, so we've got some brown over there. Thank you, Tar. All them brown gems appearing. You can get brown very easily. There you go, Queen Ash is up. The cool thing about her spell is because it hits the second last enemy, the splash damage usually, and get like a really nice like full effect on hitting 3 different opponents. But there it is, there's the video. If you enjoyed it, it'd be really cool if you bashed that like and subscribe button. It really does help. But most of all, thanks for watching. Catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.